Welcome to the LifePro podcast, where today I have the pleasure of having Nylien Quintana. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Welcome to the show. Nylien is a transformational wellness coach, and our topic today is drinking water, which is something I certainly struggle with. And I know I need more water, and I know I need the right kind of water. So I'm interested in talking to you about all the topics, all the questions I have. But before we get started, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic as well, and excited to have a nice conversation with you. Can you start out and tell everybody a little bit more about yourself, about your journey, how you ended up being a wellness coach?
Yes, so I've been working in banking ever since I was 17 years old. So that's all I knew. But really, when the pandemic happened, that's when I opened my eyes and noticed that we can't just trust the government or trust somebody else to take care of our health. Like we need to take care of our health and take ownership of it. Like look at the ingredients, cook at home, and little things that you could do every day. And that's when I noticed I'm like, okay, that's when I started my awakening path. And that's when I really got into health. I started working out every day. And technically, I opened Ultimate Awakening, which is my company. And I've been doing transformational coach, helping people reduce toxins in their home, helping people upgrade their waters, helping people have good quality supplements, and a lot of other stuff.
Well, that's awesome. So when we're talking about water, right? We're told we need, I think it's like half our weight in water. Um, what happens when we're dehydrated? What happens when we stop drinking water? Like what happens to our bodies?
Well, if you are already feeling thirsty, then that means you're probably already mildly dehydrated. And believe it or not, about 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated, meaning that most of Americans are not drinking enough water. And that means dehydration is basically your body is producing less fluid because you're drinking less. So it can't carry out its normal functions, meaning you're going to get symptoms such as like dry skin, dry mouth, fatigue, brain fog, dizziness, headaches, constipation, muscle cramps, heartburn, and you could even have urinary and kidney problems, among a lot more dehydration
Wow.
symptoms.
So by just drinking enough water, we could prevent a lot of those things.
Yeah. So
And
if you're having a headache, okay, think about, have I drank water? Did I get enough sleep? It's
right.
really a compilation.
So I hear a lot about, waking up and making sure you have a glass of water and, not drinking, when it comes to like diets, they tell you not to drink while you're eating. What is there? I mean, is there a best time really to drink? And I know some people refrain from drinking at night because they don't want to wake up in the middle of the night. I mean, is there ideal times to drink water?
Yes. So the best time to drink water is on an empty stomach at the start of your day. If you could add some lemon, you could squirt half a lemon,
Mm.
maybe make it warm water. It'll really help to jumpstart and seize your day. I would say that's like the best time to drink water, right when you wake up, right? Because you're basically fasting all night long. And it is true what you're saying. You are not recommended to drink water while you eat. Basically, don't drink anything. Why? Because your body needs to digest properly. And while you drink water while you eat, or you're drinking soda, or you're drinking something else, is not letting your body digest properly.
Right.
So some experts say even 30 minutes before or
Mm.
after you eat, you shouldn't.
So let's say I'm supposed to drink 90 ounces of water. Let's say, do you recommend, drinking most of that in the morning? Are you supposed to drink a cup an hour? Is there any cadence recommendations you have for people?
No, just, try to drink it throughout the day. I would
Yeah.
say, especially before a workout, after a workout, when you wake up, just try not to while you eat. And like you said again too, some people don't like to drink water before bed because
Yeah.
they don't want to use the bathroom in the middle of the night. So
And I know people that don't want to keep drinking water because they don't want to keep going to the bathroom. Uh, I mean, what do we say to those people?
well, to be honest, people got to understand there's nothing to be embarrassed about, right? It is actually normal and very critical for you to use the bathroom. I would say an average of 4 to 8 times a day. That's normal. So if you're not using the bathroom as many times as you should, that's definitely something that you need to be aware of, because then that means you're not hydrating enough, right?
Yeah.
And another way that you could tell that you're dehydrated is through the color of your urine, right? So if your urine is darker color, then you know, okay, I haven't been drinking that much water. As for it's light, you're like, okay, I'm really dehydrated. So that's definitely a way that you could tell.
Now, is hydration a process? Does it take days to get hydrated, or can you just get hydrated immediately by just drinking enough water?
You could get hydrated immediately. The problem with the typical hydration in the market right now is that the molecules of the water are a lot bigger, meaning that they don't penetrate your cells. So it could take you like gallons of water for you to feel hydrated, where if you're drinking like natural spring water, alkalized water, and that type of water, electrolytes reduced water, then those molecules are smaller and they're able to penetrate into your cells.
Well,
so really, it just depends on the type of water you're drinking.
Well, that's a good question. So I got some Fiji water here, and on the bottle it says Earth's finest water. Like, how do we know? Like, this is expensive water. Like, how do we know it's the right water? How do we know if the water we're drinking is best for us? Has the right composition?
Yeah. Well, to begin, I would try to avoid bottled water, right? Because bottled water, one, you don't know how long it's been stored. You don't know when it has been packaged. That water could be in a warehouse for a year old. Think about it. You're drinking a water that's a year old, And a lot of times, if you notice, some of the water on the plastic bottles has the expiration date. Water doesn't expire. What expiring is the bottle. They're basically telling you, hey, if you don't drink it by this date, there's chemicals in the water, who knows? And the problem is that the water stores for so long that these chemicals are already leaching in the water. Because if you think about it, what is plastic? Plastic is literally just a bunch of chemicals hardened together, which end up leaching in the water. So you're drinking chemicals, and on top of that, you're drinking microplastics.
So get a little bit more into that. Like, I guess I'm not totally following. Like, for me, I think water is really, I don't think all water is different, like is the same. But I gauge water based on how it tastes or how easily I can drink it, rather than knowing the composition, or maybe the minerals that are in it. I don't know. Can you maybe delve a little bit deeper into what you were talking about?
Yeah. So we could, if you want, we could talk about the different types of water, right? So for example, tap water. Tap water, avoid at all times. It's full of contaminants. It has arsenic, lead, radium, chlorine, pharmaceuticals. Oh my gosh, we could keep going on the list. There's a website. It's called the Environmental Working Group, and they have a water database where if you put your zip code, it tells you all the contaminants that your water has in your county. It's free. I'll send you the link so you can share it with your audience. It's totally free, and it's available. Like, they're not lying anymore. They're putting it right there. They're like, okay, these are contaminants. It's up to you if you want to drink that water, right?
Yeah.
The second one is the plastic water bottles, which we talked about. It leaches chemicals and microplastics, and it's not only bad for your health, but it's also bad for the environment. So that's really something to think about. The other one I would say is alkaline water bottle. So I'm sure you've heard the hype of alkaline water, drink alkaline. One good example is Essentia. Have you ever heard of Essentia water?
Yeah, it's the black and red bottle.
Yes. So the problem with Essentia is that you could basically make any water alkaline if you add baking soda. So if you look at the ingredients, water is not supposed to have ingredients. So if you look at the ingredients in Essentia, you'll see it has bicarbonate soda, which is basically baking soda. So imagine somebody who's purchasing Essentia and that's all they drink. They're literally drinking more than the amount of baking soda that you're supposed to even intake, which you're not supposed to intake any. And then the other one I would say is distilled or reverse osmosis water. The problem with that water is that, yes, it's good at removing all contaminants, reverse osmosis was actually invented for industrial and commercial use. It wasn't really invented for human consumption. Well, in the past couple of years, everyone thought that that was the best option. So, reverse osmosis became very, very popular. But the problem with it is that since it removes all contaminants, it's removing the good ones and the bad ones. So I'm not sure if you know, but water has natural minerals that we're supposed to get from water. So if the water has no minerals, then your body's searching for it. So you're actually releasing the ones that you have. So that's the problem with distilled and RO water. And then for filtered, so we're thinking about, you think filtered, you think your fridge water, or you're thinking a Brita filter. The problem with those is that they're very basic. So what they do is they basically just remove the odors, the color, and basically like chlorine. Some of them remove chlorine. But the problem with that is that it just removes enough for you to taste that it's clean, and it makes it seem like it's clean. But in reality, it's not really removing most of the contaminants in your drinking water. So the best option for looking for a water filter is to make sure that it's NSF certified. NSF stands for National Sanitation Foundation. And basically, if you have an NSF mark, it assures you that the product, in this case, the filter, has been tested by a trusted independent organization. So you could actually go into the NSF website and look for the company, and it'll show you all the certifications. Because the problem is now that a lot of people are using this marketing scheme where they say, oh, our filter meets the NSF guidelines, but in reality, if they would meet the guidelines, then they would actually be certified by the NSF.
Got it.
So that's like this new marketing that they're doing. And
Wow.
then the last three, which filtered water is one of them, the last three are the best choices. So the other one that I want to talk about is naturally alkalized spring water. So yes, spring water is the best of the best, right? Because it's coming from nature. So it's the water that we're supposed to be drinking. But the problem is a lot of times that it still needs to be filtered, because let's say, think about a spring, the water is going down these mountains, it's hitting everything that's on the way. So it could be hitting some contaminants.
Right.
The only company that I've seen that holds like really good transparency and is sourced sustainably is the Mountain Valley spring water. Really, they only give it in glass bottles, so that you could already tell that the company cares. They have from different sizes. They have from water bottles to like big 5-gallon waters. That's a good place. Again, it might be a little pricey because it is glass water, and if you're gonna be consuming and buying water, might as well just buy something for your home where you could drink, alkalized water.
Yeah.
And then the last but third and not least is electrolytes reduced water. So basically, this water is charged in titanium platinum coated plates, and it has this process called electrolysis process. Basically, the water gets broken down into smaller molecules, and it helps to penetrate your cells. So the water actually hydrates you at a cellular level. So basically, drinking one glass of that water will hydrate you probably more than drinking half a gallon of like tap water or bottled water.
Right.
I do have a machine at home that produces this water. It is amazing, and you could do just so much with it in your home.
How would somebody get a machine like that?
They could reach out to me directly. I could, give them the information and put them in contact, but you usually would need it to get it from somebody else. So like from a word of mouth from somebody else.
Right. Great. That's awesome. Yeah. So I guess to recap a little bit, drinking water is very important, and it's better to drink maybe those other kinds of water than no water at all. But if you want to improve your lifestyle, you want to improve your health and have the best, outcome with drinking water, you want to drink one of those better ones at the end. But is there what is your rule of thumb for everybody of how much water they should drink? I've heard always it's half your body weight. Is that what you go by when you talk to people about this?
Yes, I also go by that. So for example, if I weigh 160 pounds, then I should be drinking about 80 ounces of water.
Right.
And that's give or take, you could drink more.
Yeah. So I have I have reminders on my computer to drink water, and I seem to start ignoring it after a time. I just get busy. Do you have any tips for people on how to improve their consumption of water and increase their consumption of water?
Yeah, so I actually have 4 tips for you today. One of them would be to add fruits to your water. So a lot of people think water is boring or they don't like the taste. I would really, you can add lemon, you can add watermelon, mint, any citrus fruit is really good. Another choice would be, like you said, kind of keep a tracker or an alarm to remind you. That it actually really helps a lot. Another tip would be to have just a big jug next to you, like all day. Like I usually have
Yeah.
this, and I know that I need to drink
Yeah.
2 of these a day at least.
Yeah.
And then,
Right.
that helps me keep track. And then another tip would be just get in the habit of taking your water everywhere. So whenever I leave my house, I swear to you, I will forget my phone before I forget my water.
That's great. So
That happened to me.
you've built that habit, and I have
Yeah.
I have a bad problem. I lose these water bottles, but I have this big one that has like times on it. So it's basically guiding me to finish, to get to that point. So I look at it to see what time it is and if I'm hitting my mark so I could finish the bottle. But it's really for me, it's been about building that habit. Like if, with anything, if you start doing something for, I think the rule of thumb is typically 21 days in a row. If you challenge yourself to do that like for 21 days, you'll find that you can't stop if you want to keep going, and you actually want water more when you drink more water, which is funny, like for me, because your body gets used to it. We program ourselves to drink more, and you'll notice a huge difference when you're drinking enough water in your energy level, and even in our sleep patterns. It's a fundamental part of health, and which is, I'm preaching to the choir here, that I should, I should listen to myself, because I don't do these things that I say. But talking to you definitely inspires me to get back on it. And I hope that, after our talk today, that I'm one of the people that listens here and increases the consumption. And now I know that I need to pay attention to the quality. And we'll talk about the filtering offline, because I would love to have something like that in my house, because I have a filter at my house. I have no idea if it's you know up to your
Certified.
standards,
Yeah.
certified. So I'm interested in kind of learning that, and I think that's some cool stuff that you are teaching us here. And I've had one discussion with somebody that said that she got to a point where she was over drinking water, that drinking too much water. Is that something you've ever heard before?
Yeah, so basically, there is a thing as drinking too much water, but I would say I do not recommend anyone to drink more than 5 gallons of water per day
Wow,
because
that's a
your
lot.
kidney, yeah, that's a lot exactly. So like you really need to be like pushing yourself, right? Because the
Yeah,
problem is your kidneys cannot keep up and eliminate all that water. So then you can have a water intoxication and it could
yeah,
even like, mess with your kidneys.
yeah. That's like what the
Yeah.
water, like a water cooler in the offices. Those are 5 gallons. So that's a lot. That's a lot of
Yeah,
water.
yeah. And also, again, it's the type of water you're drinking. If you're
Yes.
drinking a lot of water and it's not really hydrating you, then you're gonna get like all, like
Yeah.
water retention.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. When you're drinking enough water, you could see it on your skin. Like you have a kind of a glow that we can kind of see. So definitely, whatever you're doing is working. And I appreciate everything
thank
you've
you.
taught us today. So Life Pro Podcast is the manual to life. I like to say that everything in life comes with a manual except for life itself. So one question I ask all my guests is one thing that you want to teach the world. So I ask you today, what is one thing you want to teach the world?
I want to teach the world that the body is a self-healing mechanism. As long as you give it the proper tools and environment, it will heal itself.
That's awesome. And that's not only water. That's just understanding
Mm-hmm.
your body, understanding what it
Exactly.
needs. Your body speaks to you when there's something wrong. It's important for us to pay attention to the signs that we get from our bodies. It's important that we respect our bodies, and water, exercise, diet, sleep, all those things play a fundamental role in improving our lives. And I really enjoyed listening to your perspective on water and give us a better full dimension, full spectrum of what drinking water actually means. Is there a book that you read? And I think I have a book here. I have a book here about water. I can't say I've ever opened it. It's brand new. I just have it on my desk to remind me. It's your body's many cries for water. Is there a book that you read that maybe inspired you? Or maybe it doesn't have to be about water, but it changed the trajectory of your life.
Yes, so there's this book called The Hidden Messages in Water by Masuro Emoto. And basically, he does a water experiment where water holds memory. And he talks to water, right? He'll talk to water and he'll say something negative, and then he talks to water and he'll say something positive. And then he did a couple of tests. He froze the water, and then when he took out the water from the freezer, the ones that he spoke nicely and pretty to, they all had beautiful crystal structure, like super beautiful. And then the ones that he talked ugly to, they had like these ugly of structure, crazy, like, you know. And it's just crazy that we were never taught water education anytime, and water is just, it's more important. Like water, it's crucial. Earth is made up of water, our bodies are made up of water. Like water is such a crucial element in our life, and we've never even noticed. We
Wow.
can't go more than 3 days without water, and that's on average the person.
Yeah. You can go 7 days without food or longer without food,
A
but
little bit longer, yeah.
water tells you how fundamental drinking water is. And we make time for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's lunchtime, but we don't. It's nobody talks about water breaks or making sure.
Yeah.
And I think obviously, with the more you exercise, I feel like the more activity you have, the more you actually require water because you're losing water. And I'm sure electrolytes also have to factor in. Maybe a topic for another show. Last question for you is what's the best way to reach or follow you?
So you could reach me at ultimate_awakening, either on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok.
That's awesome. Well, this conversation made me thirsty, so I appreciate
Me
that.
too.
I will hopefully it'll start the beginning of my journey of drinking more water. I'll keep you updated on how that goes.
Yes, I'd love to hear. I would definitely would.
I liked our talk. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much for your time. I remind everybody to please like, follow, and share. Help us spread the word. Take care.
Thank you.